And Donald Trump last night, as much as I complain about how he is the media's obsession, and, I even had a little debate with myself about maybe I should just stop talking about him on the air. But the problem is that he's doing things that are hurting our country. He's saying things that are not true. And if somebody doesn't call him out on this stuff, last night, Donald Trump is employing Goebbels' big lie theory, which is if you tell a lie that's big enough, audacious enough, astonishing enough, and you repeat it often enough, people would say, well, it must be true. He wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't true. So last night, Donald Trump said Hillary Clinton and President Obama support the release of dangerous criminals from detention. No. He said this before, and PolitiFact gave it a pants on fire. In fact, he said Hillary Clinton, wants them all released. No. It's just, simply not the case. He said Hillary Clinton's plan, this includes her plan to bring in 620,000 new refugees from Syria and that region over a short period of time. Even yesterday when you were watching the news, you saw thousands and thousands of people coming in from Syria. Again, not true. The Clinton proposal is that we bring in 65,000 refugees from Syria, which is, for a country of 330 million people, it's a rounding error. It's a very, very small number of people, and it's almost a 2-year vetting process. They will be thoroughly vetted. These are people who are, families who have been terrified and in most cases had, chunks of their families destroyed by this god-awful civil war that's going on in Syria. But she proposed 65,000, not 620,000. He comes up with his 620,000 number by saying, well, okay, Obama has said 100,000, although I don't think we're taking that many. He's proposed that. And Clinton proposed 65,000, and she's going to do that every year, 65,000 every year, plus Obama's 100,000, plus he just kind of magically came up with another couple 100,000 and threw them in. It's just, he's lying. Louise and I were sitting there last night watching this speech of his going, this is incredible. This guy is just lying. And everybody's going, yeah. He said, President Obama and Hillary Clinton have engaged in gross dereliction of duty by surrendering the safety of the American people to open borders, and you know it better than anybody right here in Arizona. Open borders? If you're talking about Canada, okay. And there are parts of the American-Mexican border that are probably easier to get through than others, shall we say. But, he went off on the number of people coming in from Mexico. And there's dozens of studies that suggest, that downright flat out assert that basically since the financial crisis of 2008, more people have left the United States for Mexico than have come from Mexico to the United States. Now, there was a spike, an influx of people coming from countries that the Reagan administration threw into turmoil with the whole, Iran-Contra thing, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. And then, we went in and supported the death squads and the right-wingers and whatnot. And now they've kind of devolved into total chaos. But those were not, people coming from Mexico, although they were coming through Mexico. But they were not Mexicans coming to the United States, which is what he's been asserting. And it was largely women and children. It's just this whole thing. I was watching this, and I know Godwin's law, right? The first person who mentions Hitler loses the argument. But as Trump was going through this stuff last night in the speech, which was so vile, so deceptive, and so based on false premises, I turned to Louise and I said, you know, I'll bet that if, and they probably exist someplace, I'm sure they exist someplace. I'm you know, probably Yad Vashem, you know, has them, and we could even get them if we wanted to go through the hassle. If you were to listen to the Nazi speeches given in the early 30s about the evils of the Jews, the evils of the trade unionists, the evils of the communists, the evils of gay people, all people that they ultimately exterminated, I don't think it would be all that much different than what we were hearing last night. Filled with lies, misrepresentations, distortions, wild exaggerations, stated as facts, with the implicit, and I'm the only one that can save you from these horrors. This is just astonishingly troubling to me. I don't know how to say it other than that. It's just astonishingly troubling to me. The Washington Post fact-checked Trump's speech, is saying basically the same thing I'm saying. And, you know, there's all kinds of pieces to this thing that are just sick and twisted. And now the president of Mexico, by the way, tweeted out after Trump left town, I did tell him we wouldn't pay for the wall. So Trump choked when he was there. He didn't fight with the president of Mexico. He wasn't the tough guy. And then he lied about it, right?